What is your view on this current wave of prosecutions that he's facing? Is this the time that they're actually going to get Trump finally?
Well, there are two indictments against him now. One very weak in New York. In New York, they just made it up. The DA ran for office. Remember, in America, unlike other civilized countries, you run for office as a prosecutor. It's unheard of in other countries. And you run for office as a judge. And so the people who ran for district attorney and attorney general of New York ran on the platform of Get Trump. I named my book. I didn't make up the title Get Trump. I got it from the campaign pledges of the district attorney and attorney general of New York. And so they went after him, and they didn't find any criminal conduct. And so they made it up. The New York indictment is simply made up. The idea that he didn't put on a form the fact that he paid hush money to prevent the public from learning that he had had an affair with a former porn star. I mean, it's unheard of in America that you'd have a prosecution for that. The Florida case, on the other hand, is much more serious.
Yes.
And it's serious because of what Trump said. There's this plaque that people have in their houses if they're fishermen. It's a stuffed dead fish, and it says on the bottom, "I'd still be swimming if I had kept my mouth shut." And I think that's true of Donald Trump. He would not have been indicted but for his own statements. He apparently, according to the evidence, waved a piece of paper in front of a reporter and a publisher and said, I could have declassified this when I was president, but I didn't, and it's still secret. And according to the prosecution, he showed it to these unauthorized people, and it's on tape. And that's going to be very hard to explain legally. Trump has already tried to. He said there were only newspaper clippings, that he was essentially bluffing when he suggested they were classified material. But that will be a hard defense for him to make unless he takes the witness stand at the trial. And if I were his lawyer, I would certainly recommend against him taking the witness stand, because that opens him up. And opens him up to a great deal of cross-examination about other matters and other conduct that he may have committed. So there is a substantial chance that he could be convicted of the Florida case, and the election would probably take place about the same time as the trial. And so we have this odd situation of the leading candidate running against the incumbent president being somebody who might be in the middle of trial or conceivably could be convicted. Unlikely he'll be imprisoned, but even that's a possibility. And under our Constitution, you can run for president and be elected president even if you're convicted of a felony. So that's the situation we're in.
Okay, so even if they convicted him, he could still be president of the United States.
That's right. The only grounds on which he could be denied the presidency is if he were convicted of the January 6th speech. Remember, January 6th is when the protesters went into the Capitol. I'm, in fact, representing a young student who was among the people who were protesting there. But if he's convicted of sedition, which is a stretch, but if he were to be convicted of sedition, that might disqualify him from running for president under the 14th Amendment. I don't think so, but that's the argument that's being made by some people.
If you enjoyed that content, there's lots more where that came from. The Other Side Australia is back every Tuesday and Friday on ADH TV and all good podcast platforms. It's your weekly short circuit summary of the best news commentary from Australia and abroad. Don't miss it.